Sonic Colors, the game that everyone had played or played at least once. The official release of not only the Wii but the DS version of Sonic Colors was in November 11th of 2010, and the remaster of it, Sonic Colors Ultimate, came out in September 7th of 2021. Everyone has their ups and downs, whether they like the game or not, and today I'm going to be giving my review of not only the Wii version, but also the DS version and the remaster version. Now, I do want to tell you that this is my own opinion. Everyone is entitled to whether they like the remaster version, the original one, or the DS version. But in the end, people like Sonic Colors for a reason, and I'll be explaining in my review. Now, I will be telling not only the good, but also the bad, and I'm talking about just for all versions of it. So without further ado, let's get started. But before we start, I want you to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification so you guys will be notified when I do gameplays and reactions. Without further ado, let's get started with the review. Our story begins with Sonic and Tails entering Eggman's incredible interstellar amusement park, where he says, and I quote, where you can enjoy 5 planets for the price of 1. Sonic and Tails were a little skeptical about Eggman's new motivation of why he built his amusement park, saying that he met the error of his ways and built the amusement park to show his nicer side. But Sonic believes that Eggman is using the amusement park for some kind of evil plot. While talking, Sonic heard a commotion and decided to run there, while Orbot and Cubert were chasing 2 aliens that Sonic ended up rescuing. Later on, we realized that the 2 aliens are called Wisp, an alien race that can give out energy using hyper-go-on power. One of the Wisps is called Yacker, who asked Sonic and Tails to help them and save their planet. While fighting Dr. Eggman, Sonic found a map to more planets where all the alien Wisps are being captured. As Sonic and Tails progressed throughout the story, Eggman used the hyper-go-on power for a mind control to where he can use it to mind control the entire planet and become his slaves. After defeating one of Eggman's robots, Sonic and Tails realized that Eggman is using 5 tractor beam energies in order to hold the planet while he's scooping up the aliens to get more hyper-go-on power. While stopping on one of the planets, they realized they stumbled upon the Wisp's home planet, called Planet Wisp, an alien planet where all the Wisps are come from. But they realize that Eggman is slowly turning their home planet into a part of their attractions. Later on, we see Sonic stumble upon one of the planets who are holding the most aliens and realize that Eggman is not only using their hyper-go-on power for his mind control, but is slowly turning them into strange negative wisps with negative energy. But it's also killing them in the process, because without their hyper-go-on energy, they are slowly drained of their energy. After destroying all 5 tractor beam generators, Sonic and Tails was able to not only save all 5 planets, but also save the Wisp's home planet. Meanwhile, Eggman believed that he was defeated, but he realized that he had enough hyper-go-on power to not only fully use his mind control ray, but point it at the planet. After Dr. Eggman tried to use his mind control ray to point it at the planet, his machine started malfunctioning and created a black hole. Eggman realizes that his machine is backfiring and he's very disappointed. But instead of taking the loss, he decided to do one last thing, and by defeating Sonic once and for all. Meanwhile, Sonic and Tails realize that the amusement park is breaking down, so they try to escape. As they escape, Dr. Eggman pulls out his one last trump card, which is the Mega Armor Wisp, in order to take him down once and for all. Sonic was able to keep Tails safe by pushing him into the elevator, and then the final battle began. After one defeat later, he was able to beat Eggman, but he had no choice but to outrun the black hole. Failed to, the Wisp was able to save him by using their hyper-go-on power to reverse the negative energy that the black hole created and turn it into positive, while saving Sonic in the process. Yacker thanks Sonic and Tails for rescuing them and their home planet, and they had no choice but to say their goodbyes. After one high five later, they went to their planet and returned back into outer space. And that's the end of the story. Unless you play the DS version, when you realize that they also have a mother who was also affected by Eggman's mind control and turned it into the mother of the Nega Wisp. Sonic used the Chaos symbols that you collected in order to turn to Supersonic. After defeating her, she returned back to her normal state and returned back to the planet. The story is a lot to unpack, but is really good for the game. Anyway, with the story out of the way, it's time to move on to the next one, the gameplay. Sonic Colors is a 3D and 2D platforming game. Each of the planet will let you investigate more and more. You got Tropical Resort, Sweet Mountain Zone, Starlight Carnival, Planet Wisp, Aquarium Park, and Asteroid Coaster, if we're also including Terminal Velocity though. But for each one, you're introduced a new wisp. You got the Laser Wisp that allows you to move at speed. You got the Drill Wisp that allows you to dig underground or underwater. You got the Hover Wisp that can not only hover in places, but it can also use the light speed dash. You got the Cube that can either help you with platforming or get you goodies. The Spike Wisp that not only allows you to use the spin dash, but also lets you climb on ceilings and walls. The Rocket that takes you high up in the sky. And you also got the Frenzy Wisp that not only eats everything in sight, but it grows bigger and bigger. There's also some new additions that is either exclusive for both Ultimate and the DS version. For the DS version, you got the Burst Wisp that allows you to burst into mini explosions to get you higher and higher. It's similar to like the Hover Wisp. And you also got the Void Wisp that also turns into a black hole, but similar to like the Frenzy Wisp, it grows bigger and bigger the more you eat. And a new addition is the Ghost Wisp that not only turns you into a ghost, but it allows you to transport into solid walls that lets you phase through just to get some goodies. It was originally in Team Sonic Racing as an item that you can use to steal from opponents, but now it's implemented in Ultimate. They're all fun in their own ways, but if I had to pick the favorite, I'd pick the Drill, the Spike, and the Frenzy Wisp. As you go about the planets, each of the planets have their own bosses that will either progress the story or just to provide a little bit of a challenge. For Tropical Resort, you have Rotation Tron. For Sweet Mountain Zone, you have Captain Jelly. For Starlight Carnival, you have Fragment Orchid. For Planet Wisp, you have Refresh or Tracenair. For Aquarium Park, you have Atomo Jelly. And for Asteroid Coaster, you have Fragment Scolatron. And of course, for Terminal Velocity, you have the Nega Wisp Armor. Each of the bosses are difficult in their own ways, but with the Wisp, it helps you really well. For Tropical Resort, you have the Laser. For Sweet Mountain Zone, you have the Drill. For Starlight Carnival, you can use the Laser Wisp. For Planet Wisp, you use the Spike. For Aquarium Park, you also use the Drill. And for Asteroid Coaster, you use the Rocket. And of course, for Terminal Velocity, you use all the Wisps. They're really good, but enough about the gameplay. It's time to move on to the next thing, and that is how well the characters are written in this game. Sonic Colors has a lot of great characters, like Sonic and Tails, Dr. Eggman, and Orbot and Cubot. Each of the characters are funny in their own way and written really well. Of course, you got Sonic the Hedgehog, who was voiced by Roger Craig Smith. Tails, you got Keith Hillingens. For Dr. Eggman, we got Mike Poller. For Orbot, we got Ken Thornton. And for Cubot, we got Willie Wington. Each of the characters and the voice actors did really well for the characters. For Roger Craig Smith, he did portray Sonic as the kind of jokey kind of character with a good lines between the wits and his heroism. But he's willing to be serious if needs be. In fact, there is a few funny lines I do like, and one serious line I do like as well, such as
Eggman, I am going to save this planet, and I am going to free these aliens. No copyright law in the universe is going to stop me.
Hey, where are you going?
To find Baldy McNosehair, of course. I'm totally calling him McNosehair.
And
Look at all of them. He's captured thousands of aliens.
Don't worry, we'll get him out.
Sonic, I haven't seen Yacker for a while.
You'll have to excuse me, buddy. I have a generator to shut down.
For Kate Helligen, the voice actor for Tails, he's more of the tech-savvy kind of character where I do like some of the lines when he's fixing his voice translator from his Miles Electric. Like...
Okay, he says his name is Talks a Lot, and he's from a faraway soda, and where flowers water them with dances. Funny thing, it was first translating as horrible body odor.
Do we know how Eggman is getting all these aliens?
Yeah. At first I thought that Yacker was talking about how Baldy Nosehair was using burps to do it.
Even Dr. Eggman's voice actor, Mike Pollock, has some great lines, especially when he does his intercom for his own amusement park rides.
Refrain from foiling evil schemes, plots, and/or plans while inside the park. Foiling is strictly prohibited. We know they look delicious, but please refrain from licking the ride. That would be disgusting. Do you know where those rides have been? People have been sitting on those rides with their butts. Okay, go ahead, lick them. Don't say we didn't warn you. Please do not be concerned if you encounter any screaming aliens. The screams are how they communicate. Really, I promise.
And last but not least, the voice actor for Orbot and Cubot did a really good job portraying them as the gag kind of character who don't take themselves seriously, but is funny for comedy relief. Some examples?
He means since the boss said nothing will stop me, and Sonic here is going to stop him, it's like the boss was calling Sonic nothing.
Feeling ship-shape with me new voice chip I am. A begging your pardon, Squire, but me and my matey are gonna sail off and search for that lubber Sonic.
I think that's the wrong chip.
Yo, what do you mean impossible? Your plans have been crushed by Sonic for like, ever. He stops you like it's his job or something. In fact, I can't remember a plan he didn't stop.
What are you talking about? He hasn't stopped all of them.
Name one.
Way to pay attention, pal.
Thank you, buddy! Hey, my voice! It's back! All right!
Ah, there's the sweet sound my auditory processors know and love. Boss, of course you won't. On the bright side, a certain someone got their voice back.
I feel like my old self! All I want to do is talk! Hey, remember when we were chasing those little alien guys? What's up with those things anyway? They sure were funny looking!
And now, with the gameplay and the voice actors out of the way, it's time to move on to the next part of the category, which is usually what Sega usually do well with. Music.
Once I start moving, I don't need much time.
The soundtracks in Sonic Colors are some of the best ones in the game. Each of the music represents the stage that's built up. For Tropical Resorts, it has this welcome kind of music when you first get into the level. For Sweet Mountains though, it has this sugar rush kind of attraction kind of music when you look at the desserts of all kinds. For Starlight Carnival, it has this beautiful atmosphere kind of music when you see all the lights as you're running down the Rainbow Road. For Planet Wisp, it has this angelic kind of music where it shows how the wisps are being enslaved. For Aquarium Park, it also has like an angelic kind of music as you see through the underground water light. For Astro Coaster, it has this rock and roll kind of music where not only you're going up and down and all around on the roller coasters, but also the insides of the asteroids through different planets and loop-de-loops and such. And for Terminal Velocity, it has this another rock and roll, but it's more of a rush kind of rock and roll as you escape the theme park. And each of the stage has 3 acts. The first act shows like the beginning of the stage. The second act shows the inside, the upbeat kind, and the third act shows like the ending to the next part kind of music. The DS version of those set musics are, well, DS, but they're really good for music nonetheless. You should give it a listen to when you ever get a chance. And in Ultimate, literally everything is a remix. Now, I don't hate remixes, but there are some that does not need a remix at all. And now with the music out of the way, it's time to to cover the last thing. And as promised, I'll be talking about the ups and the downs of Sonic Colors.
Just got one last thing to do. As for you...
Sonic Colors was a Wii and a DS exclusive console game that was made in November 11, 2010. Even though the game did release and gave it a great score, there is a few things that I like to talk about. For one, the game can be really short, especially after you unlock every single wisp. And sometimes I would like a lengthy level Sonic game. And to collect the Chaos Emeralds, at least for the Wii version, you need to get every single red ring in all of the stages, including Terminal Velocity. And once you play Eggman Land, then sometimes it feels like the characters you get to pick are just different color Sonics in your Mii, which I like to see other characters like Shadow, Tails, Knuckles, and Blaze, and other characters in the Wii version. In the DS version, it follows the same formula as the Sonic Rush series, but the problem is how they add their vast library of characters like Knuckles, Rouge, Shadow, Omega, Cream, Amy, and other characters like that, where they're only there just for mission base, just to substitute 3 more levels as opposed to the Wii version of it. And last but certainly not least, let's talk about the elephant on the room, Sonic Colors Ultimate. Ooh boy, where do I begin? Well, let's start with the trailer. After the trailer dropped for Sonic Colors Ultimate releasing for PlayStation 5 and 4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch, along with Steam, a lot of people were excited. Then the game dropped, and woo boy, Twitter has ripped it to shreds. Bugs and glitches, along with colors off the roof, and don't even get me started with the seizure of the color graphics. It took so long, it took a while for the game to be patched up to be what it is today. But before all that happened, meaning the patch that is, it hurted the review of Sonic Colors Ultimate to actually getting a good score. Before the patch, a lot of people were not happy with the game. Now, with the patch been updated and all, a lot of people either like it or just said it was an okay remaster. And I'm one of them to think that Sonic Colors Ultimate was an okay remaster. And now it's time for me to wrap the whole thing up and give my honest opinion and review score.
Finally, we can relate. Our side by side is fate. I knew all along we'd find some way to communicate.
Woo boy, it took a while, but now it's time to give the final tally. Let's see what it is.
Outstanding!
What a great score! Now, I want to thank you guys for watching this video. Please like it, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification so you guys will be notified when I do gameplays, reactions, and other stuff. And whether you like Sonic Colors Ultimate, the original, or the DS version, we can all agree that Sonic Colors is one of the best games that came out of the year. So, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!
Don't fall apart. Stay with your heart and always take it with you back to the sun. Speak with your heart, yeah.